Hey everybody, Jason Mancuso and Anthony Butera with the Anthony Butera team at Keller Williams Realty. Welcome to the Real Estate Show podcast. Today we've got the man behind the curtain, Shane Allen, is we're blind on this. We're gonna get questions from the listeners that were submitted.
Yep.
And we have no knowledge of them. So
None.
rapid fire,
None.
putting us to the test.
And if you've seen Shane, you know why he's behind the curtain.
That's why I'm off screen. You guys ready?
Fire away.
First question. What should people be looking for during an open house?
Cookies.
Yeah. No cookies, no fresh smell. Get out of there.
Yep, cookies for sure.
I think the problem with open houses is that if you're going there without agent representation, you're at a disadvantage. Unless you're just going there to like qualify your interest, and then you're going to get your agent on a private showing to really go into all the details that need to be dove into, right? So while you're there by yourself, we talked about this on a recent show. I mean, look at big ticket items. You want to be enamored with the house cosmetically and layout and location, and for it to make sense. If you love the house at that point, start looking at the big ticket items: roof, windows, siding, furnace, etc. Get a sense of, does it look good? Does it look newer? Does it look really old? And start to kind of figure out what you need to budget for.
Yeah, and like you were alluding to, right? So the host of that open house most likely is the list agent, right? Their fiduciary is to the sellers. They're not going to walk you through that house and be critical of anything because it could monetarily damage their seller's best interest, right? So even though it's an open house, still let your realtor that you're working with know that you're going through. They may join you, but just give them a heads up because they're probably going to want to go through and see it as well, especially if you decide you want to write an offer on it.
Yep, for sure. Next.
What are questions that buyers should be asking their agent?
Love it. Okay. I think you got to dive into, experience in terms of what you're looking for as a buyer and, how much experience the agent has, whether it's in that location or neighborhood or price point.
Yeah.
Right. And look at this is the biggest financial decision and transaction of your life, most likely, buying a home. And using an agent, the agent, they have to understand, like, it's a privilege that a buyer's working with you, right? Yep. There's a lot of agents to choose from, and it's not a right that because your aunt is buying a home that they have to use you.
Yeah.
So you're gonna want to really dive into the experience that they have for the specific, I hate to call it a product, but the product that you're looking for, right?
And I would ask questions around expectations, right? Because I think agents don't ask this enough, and I think buyers don't ask this enough. Like, what's a realistic expectation? If we find a house, what's the expectation for turnaround time from when you can get us in, right? And if an agent, if they say, like, listen, well, I work another job, so I can only do it in this time of day or this day of the week, like, you may want to talk about that and see if it's still going to work. Because, let's face it, it's 2021. We want what we want, and we want it right now. So if you have
you have the ability to get it.
Yeah, and if you have a part-time agent that can't accommodate your schedule, then you're going to have to figure that out, and you may have to find another agent.
Look at we advise our agents that work with us to ask these questions too, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're an agent and your kids have sports that you want to be at, rightfully so. During the evenings, during the week, and your buyers only, like, say they work all day every weekend and also the 9 to 5 during the week, and the only time they can see homes is during the week after 5, and you're want to be with family, that may not be a fit. And you got to do right, as an agent, you got to do right by the person that you're trying to help, right?
Yeah.
It's a disservice to them, and it's a bad look for you if you take that on and then have to dodge them consistently to the point where that buyer's likely to find another agent. Next.
Got some questions about what it's like to be an agent. First one is, what do you wish you would have known when you first started real estate? What's something you wish you would have known when you first started?
How crazy human beings are.
Yeah, you do kind of, need a psychology degree, it seems like, at times to do this effectively, right?
Well, and I think that's what I was getting at, right? Is like, I didn't fully understand the emotions. It's an emotional process, right? You got people that have been living in their house for 50 years and they raised their kids there, and now it's time for you to sell it. Like, that house has become an extension of their family. And I didn't realize till I got into real estate how emotional, especially on the list side, sales can be.
Sure, absolutely. And rightfully so, right? Again, I've mentioned it a few times, biggest transaction of your life, most likely.
Yep.
So, make sure you're ready to deal with that. How I would answer that is the approach I took the first few years in the business is one of just winging it and trying to figure it out for myself and being stubborn and not wanting to be, partake in training or coaching or anything, and just like, stay out of my way. I'm going to do it myself. I'll figure it out. I call it a lot, it's a copy and paste business. There's tons of successful people that have built massive businesses before you or I or anybody else that you can turn to and get advice and see their models and systems, etc., and figure out how to implement your way to your benefit. So really, like, dive into the education side of the business and entrench yourself in that and figure out from there what's going to work for you based on your personality or how you operate. So don't wing it.
Next one about being an agent is, what is the craziest thing you've seen while showing a home?
I got this.
Oh, yeah.
I got this.
Yeah. This is his time.
Which one to choose from? Okay. Showed up at a home inspection. I got there first. I'm happy I got there first because the listing agent is female and the buyer is a female. Open the door, go inside. I feel a draft coming from the back of the house. It's wintertime. Walk back. There is another gentleman in the house who had just broken through the window and was attempting to rob the place in broad daylight. He looks at me, I look at him, we meet eyes. He goes, "You're robbing the place too?" Like, "No, dude, I'm here for a home inspection, a house for sale." And he darts out the back. That was it.
Yeah, your stories are better than mine. I have stumbled upon, there must be a code in the inner city that you don't ever have to wear clothes even when you're answering the door. Mm-hmm. And I've stumbled upon a few clothless people, some answering the door and then some just laying in their room. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
You'd like it.
It's hot. Sicko. It's always warmer in the city.
Sicko.
You want to do one more?
One more.
This is just for people moving to Rochester. They want to know, what is the best part of living in Rochester?
Okay.
The seasons. No, I'm just joking. I hate when people say that.
I don't know. I like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but yeah.
I like, don't get me wrong, I like it, right? And it's like, we love summer and we like fall, right? And fall is like 4 days, right? Like the transition between nice weather and flakes, there's not much time there. And I resent winter more every year.
No, winter sucks. No traffic.
Yeah.
I've been to major markets where, I describe Rochester from a traffic standpoint. You can go 30 miles in 30 minutes here.
Yep.
I live off the expressway on the west side of town. My parents live off the expressway on the east side of town in Victor by the mall. I can get there door to door in 25 minutes across the county. You can't go 5 miles in sometimes 2 hours in, big markets, right? But just even your more larger, medium-sized markets, like you got traffic that's adding to the commute. So even in rush hour here, like, I'm not gonna say there's no traffic at all, but you're moving, right? You're I get pissed if I'm on 590 and I'm going 30, right?
Yep.
And that, most markets, like, you're standing still for a time being until you get through it. So, no traffic. I mean, that's a big thing for me. School systems, right?
Great schools.
I have a brother that teaches in Florida, He told me, their public school systems, the best public schools are in, not even parallel with the, what would be our lowest rated school here locally.
Sure.
So, I mean, I think, if you complain about the high taxes, just know that that's what it's going towards, whereas most markets, if you want top-rated schools, you've got lower taxes, but you're also dishing out for private schools at that point, if that's a priority, so.
And it plays back into what you said, though, like, right, I mean, you just said no traffic, but like, we have a lot of conveniences. We have everything. Pretty much within Monroe County, you can get anywhere within 20, 30 minutes, or at least to every grocery store you'd want to go to.
Right, yeah, everything's accessible.
Yeah, and we got Wegmans.
Well, great food on top of that. We've got some great restaurants around here.
Awesome restaurants.
All right,
Yep.
so you can eat if you want to.
You can eat.
You can eat. Move to Rochester. All right, folks, thank you.